And I want to say hello, hello, hello. This is Kathleen Gage, and we are going live. I am really excited to be here. Actually, I'm going to pull up right here. I am live. I'm just starting to do live, so some of this is a little interesting as I start, but I'm doing it for the Vegan Visibility Podcast Show, the Vegan Visibility Facebook group, the Vegan Visibility group. And so it's going to go out into cyberspace. There's a focus on vegan authors, but this will apply to virtually any author. My name is Kathleen Gage, and according to Alexa, I have 20 books that I've published. I do know I've published a lot of books, and I've done really well as an author, not only getting my books done, but marketing my books. And that's what we're going to talk about today. 3 must-dos for book authors, because the reality is that most authors don't do enough, and they don't do anything to market their books. I actually came up with this idea for today's topic. I was originally going to talk about affiliate marketing, and that's going to be on another Vegan Visibility podcast show. Why affiliate marketing is a really good idea, why you should have affiliates if you have products and services, and if you don't and you want to start generating revenue to promote other people's products and services, but you must be aligned with those products and services. But the idea for actually doing something on book marketing came when I was interviewing the author of this particular book, Her Phoenix Rising, Kristen Collins. Phenomenal book. I highly recommend it. She's a triathlete. She's also a vegan. She is a rock star woman. She's got some great stories. She shares her story of how she had ovarian cancer in her 20s. That was kind of the trajectory into some other things. But as I was interviewing her, what came to me is that she is really, really good at marketing her books, whether she realizes it or not. And the fact that I'm holding it up here on a live, that says a lot. But the thing that I know is that a lot of authors do nothing to market their books. They simply do a book, put it up on Amazon, and they wait and they wait and they wait. I'm the author of, like I said, 20 books. My most successful book is Power Up for Profits, The Smart Woman's Guide to Online Marketing. This was written in 2013. This book was not only a very robust book, as you can see, but it was used as a way to raise awareness around a 3-day event that I did. That was back in the day when we did events, and that led people to the event. At the event, I generated multiple 6 figures in consulting contracts. That opened up other opportunities. And the thing that I encourage authors to look at is to really look at the fact that your book in and of itself is not the success piece. That is a piece of your success. It is something that leads into other opportunities. But today I want to talk about a few things. I've taken a few notes here, so I'm going to cover the foundation, what you should do for your foundation. And I'm going to keep this to about 10 to 15 minutes for not only the podcast, but the live, because I want you to get this in bite-sized pieces. Your Amazon page should be up to speed. You can do KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing, where you actually give your book away, the Kindle version, during a 5-day period over a 90-day period. And some people say, why would I give the book away? And you're going to find out why. You also want to get on podcast shows. And keep in mind what you do on the podcast show, because obviously Kristen did really well, because here I'm talking about her book on a live. This live is going to go out on YouTube. It's going to go out on LinkedIn. It's going to go on Twitter and Instagram, on TikTok. It's going all over the place. And she, first of all, she got through my gatekeeper, and which is me. I'm my own gatekeeper, and it was her assistant who actually approached me as a podcast host in the right way by identifying the one thing that I'm most interested in with any guest that I bring on my shows. I have 2 shows, Plant-Based Eating for Health and podcast or Vegan Visibility. And her assistant immediately identified the fact that Kristen is a vegan. I look for that on my show. Now, not every show host is going to look for that. So that's one key for an author to get on shows, is to identify what's the most important thing for a host. But going back to foundation, a couple of things in your foundation. Your website should be visitor ready. What I mean by that is that all your links are working, that it's easy to navigate, that it's not a convoluted website that they have to search for the information, and that it's professionally designed. Nowadays, you can get your site designed pretty inexpensively because there are templates that are used through WordPress or whatever platform you use, but make sure your site is easy to navigate. On your site, you should have something that people can opt in for. It might be your newsletter. It might be a free report. In my case, I have several things that people can opt in for. The one that I really encourage people to get is my influencer report, and it's how to use podcast interviews to really increase your influence. All you need to do is go to powerupforprofits.com/checklist. That's powerupforprofits.com/checklist. And I encourage you to go there now because very shortly we're doing away with the Power Up for Profits URL, and it's all going to be vegan visibility. We're in the process of doing a rebranding, but with that, that's a part of my foundation that I'm making sure that everything is aligned. So in your foundation, you want to make sure all your social networks are set up, your branding is organized, that there's a consistent look and feel, and it's about the end user. So that's one thing. Your Amazon page, really simple to get your Amazon page up and running. You can go on YouTube, get videos that show you how to get your Amazon page set up, but you definitely want to have your Amazon page set up. The next thing is sign your book up through the KDP program, the Kindle Direct Publishing, because that gives you the opportunity during a certain period. You decide on when that's going to be. You can give your book away. Now, again, some people say, why would I give my book away? That's short-sighted thinking. The long view for most authors. Now, I'm not talking about the Stephen Kings and the big authors. I'm talking about authors like you and me. We're just men and women who are writing books. We're putting our information out to market, and we want to get market reach. Well, a great way to get market reach is to set up a campaign where during the period that you're giving the book away, you say, when you go and get the book, you download it for free, and you come back to this page, you have an opt-in page where they get certain bonuses. And I would recommend you keep it to 1 or 2 bonuses that are bonuses that you give. It used to be in the old days, I was one of the people that taught people how to do the Amazon campaigns where you'd have 30, 40, 50, 100 bonuses. In my first campaign that I did for my book, Law of Achievement, we had 105 bonuses. That was a huge undertaking. It worked. I mean, I did sell a lot of books. I didn't give the book away for that particular campaign, but I sold a lot of books. It led into a live event that led into some consulting, and the rest, as they say, is history. But you definitely want to have a way for people to opt in. One thing you can do is inside your book, you have a page or pages where it's really evident that people can go to another page, an opt-in page. You direct them from your book to an opt-in page to get something for free. It could be a report, it could be a white paper, it could be a short video training, it could be an audio, whatever it is, they opt in for. And then the last thing for today that I want to talk about is I want to talk about podcast interviews. Getting on podcast shows is one of the best things that you can do to have increased market reach. And it's amazing how many people do 1 or 2 shows, they don't get a great result, and they say this stuff doesn't work. It does work if you commit to it. One of the things that I've committed to is that every day, Monday through Friday through 2022, I'm going to go live. Somewhere on social media, I'm going to go live. And I like this particular platform for right now. I'm looking at some other platforms to actually stream out. But the reason I'm committing to the full year is because no matter what, I'm going to show up. And if I say, well, I'll do it until it works, well, I may not know when it's going to work. I don't know who I'm impacting. I don't know how many people I'm reaching. And if I only try it 1, 2, 3 times, I'm not going to get the same result that if I show up every day. And so I encourage you with podcast shows to commit to a certain number of shows that you will look for opportunities to get on every single month. Now, that might be 1 per week, that might be 2 per week. It does take effort. And again, in my report on how to be an influencer with podcast interviews, you go to powerupforprofits.com/checklist. powerupforprofits.com/checklist. It will take you step by step. Here's what you need to do to get on podcast shows. The number one thing about getting on podcast shows is you don't go on and say, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. You have a conversation. You send a copy of your book, preferably a physical copy. You can ask them, which would you prefer, a PDF or a physical copy? I like to have a physical copy because, as you can see, I'm holding it up right now. You're seeing Her Phoenix Rising. You're seeing the author's name, Christian Collins. I mean, what better promotions for Christian than her book in my hand saying, buy this book? And I do encourage you to buy the book. She's a wonderful storyteller. But the reality is with a physical book, when you send it to the show host, they can sit down, they can read it before you're on the air. And then when you're on the air, they can actually hold it up. That's great promotion. One of the things that Christian said that I really like is that she likes people to take a picture of themselves reading her book. I love that idea because not only does her book get traction, but the person gets traction. So I encourage you, look at what you're doing to market your books. Don't do 1 or 2 things once or twice. Do something consistently every day. My friend John Kramer, who wrote the book 1001 Ways to Market Your Book, that is the Bible of book marketing. He's a phenomenal man and a phenomenal marketer. And I remember when I became an author, the very first book I ever wrote was about 20 years ago. And I got his book, 1001 Ways to Market Your Book. And I went through item by item and I looked at, okay, what can I apply? Take 1 thing per day. And it worked. It definitely worked. I encourage you, get his book too. And it's in digital format now, which I love. It used to be a book about that thick, and now you can get the digital format. This is Kathleen Gage with Vegan Visibility. I do work with vegan authors. I work with vegan speakers, coaches, consultants, and I encourage you, put your content into a book, put your ideas into a book, and then take responsibility for your book marketing, because it's not going to happen by you not taking responsibility. You as an author have to be willing to put yourself out there, because why would you write the book in the first place if you're not willing to do everything you can to get your message out there? More and more every day, people are writing books about their mission, about their movement, about their message, and it's now time for you to put your stake in the ground, take responsibility for your marketing, and go out and make a splash. This is Kathleen Gage, wishing you a great day.